What's good, everybody? It's your boy Nobi Inf Gang of Noble Cinema. Today I'm joined by a really good friend of mine. We've been knowing each other for a long time. Super talented artist, chef, owner of Vegan Mob. He does a lot of so definitely excited to have him on. Don Toriano, how you doing?
What's up, brother? Appreciate you having me, man. I've been waiting for this, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you having me, man. This is dope, man. I love this, man.
Definitely. How's the business going?
It's good. Franchising is wild.
They're keeping you busy though.
Keeping me busy, man. I'm running around. I'm busier than I was when I had my own restaurant. Yeah, and so it's different because you want to make sure they running at top tier, and I'm new to it, but it's going well, you know. Good. San Bruno is definitely off the hook. Santa Rosa is doing their thing, but San Bruno is just took off really good. So it's awesome.
That's good. Yeah, you're definitely one of the hardest working people I know.
Right on.
I'm always on the phone and always busy, and when I'm around you, I'm like, oh, this is how I look.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts things in perspective for me, where I'm like, yeah, but you're almost like, you got to be 2 times, 3 times busier than me. So man, I definitely tip my hat for everything that you do. But
I appreciate you.
For the people that don't know Don Toriano, let's take them back, because I really want to get your history, because for those that don't know, you're also a recording artist as well as a chef and an owner of a restaurant. So let's take them all the way back. Where are you originally from?
I'm from San Francisco, Filmo, out there filthy.
So as far as like, for the people that don't know, growing up in the Filmo, like, what is that like, and what is that environment like?
Shit,
especially when you were growing up there, because I think it was a lot different back then, right?
Yeah. When we like a whole lot of unity when we growing up. It's like Filmo was the best place in the world. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it was tough. You know what I'm saying? You go get tested, but that was like the way of us molding each other. You know what I'm saying? So like, you got tested, and it really built your character to be from Filmo. A whole lot of game, just everybody was together. Just a lot of family events. At the park, barbecues, and it's just a very prideful place to be from.
And so that community so the area that you're from is Divisadero, though, right? Mm-hmm. That's like kind of the section.
Yep.
But there's also like a good amount of other areas in the Filmo, right? It ain't just like one little strip. It's like a whole. It's got a bunch of dividing areas.
Oh yeah,
as well, right?
Definitely. Yep. All through it's plenty of neighborhoods in the Mo. And that's where I meant by like the unity. You know what I'm saying? Even though everybody's from a different place, everybody just all came together as Filmo, you know what I'm saying? And that's still how I like to see it, even though it's changed, it's been some division and things like that. But as I'm older, and we even when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? That's how we want to see it is Filmo, just one Filmo, so
definitely.
Yep.
So back in the day, were you Young No coming up, or what? How did people refer to you back then when you were real young?
Young No. So Young No was my first album.
Okay.
I was 16 when I started recording that album.
Wow.
15 and 16, like the end of 15, 16.
That first album is called what?
Young No, Taking It to the Next. And it was supposed to come out when I was around 17, but my mom wouldn't sign the contract.
So what's the story behind that project? So before that album even came together, were you like super into making music, or like you just kind of started around that age?
No, my dad, the one who was in my household, my biological father was in prison.
When did he go away to prison?
Well, he was in and out since I was a baby,
Wow.
but he left for the longest when I was around 14. He home now. He was gone for 27 years.
Pop's free.
Yep, he free. Yep, and Daddy Marco is the one who was in my household. That's who raised me, and he's a musician himself. He did reggae, and I always loved music. I would be rapping Too Short albums and everything that was my favorite rapper, Too Short, Spice One, and then Mac Dre and E40 as I grew older.
Usual Bay come up.
Yeah.
You gotta have that.
You can hear it in my voice. You can hear it in my raps. You know what I'm saying? I always love that player,
Pimp culture.
pimp fly. You know what I'm saying? Rap. You know, but Daddy Marco was a pimp too, so that kind of gave me, you know, some of my game. I mean, a lot of my game because I was around him. And Young No was supposed to come out when I was 17. I started the first album I ever did though, I did on a karaoke. I was 15. I was 14 and we released it when I was 15. That was called No Tory Us. And that's how Young No came.
So you're recording it on a karaoke machine? Like you put a tape in there and it records onto that?
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. And you're what? Like in your living room? Take us back to that. Like how did that come about?
In Dunce's living room. So Dunce used to make the beats. Dunce and Shemp. Shemp, you know who Shemp is? Shemp is Photo Doctor Graphics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shemp Photo
That's
Doctor
crazy.
Graphics.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out Shemp, man. And Shemp was Shemp and Dunce. That's who was producing. Shemp was hard on the beats.
So he was making beats back then.
Shemp was hard on the beats.
That's wild.
Wow, he was raw, like melodic, like Bay Area, like sound like some Fairfield, like Vallejo type music, you know. And so that was the first album, and then I shopped it to, you know what I'm saying, a D-Boy was my cousin's best friend, and I was like 15. I was like, you got to hear my album. You got to hear my album. So I got him to put out my album. You know what I'm saying? The Young No, he put that. He had, like I said, he had to stall until I was 18, until I was able to sign a contract, and then we put it out. I was in high school. I was in my senior year in high school. Yeah.
And so back then, when you're making music like that, like for the people that don't understand, like nowadays it's hella easy to get distribution and put out your own stuff. Like what were your influences as far as like that knowledge of how to put that together?
Shit, you know what? I didn't know what to do. Like,
you just were kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, I just, it was my entrepreneurial spirit too, cause
even back then
I spit game to get T Love to put the album out, and he spent over $50,000 on putting that album out.
Okay, hold on. Let's take that back. So you meet with this dude, right?
Yeah.
How do you make that happen? A $50,000 investment to put this album out?
Yeah, T Love had his paper, so.
T Love is a dude from SF or
from Frisco.
Okay.
From Frisco. He's from Diamond Heights.
Okay.
And part of his roots is out here from the town as well. And so he was my cousin's. They called each other brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? That was like her best friend. And he filmed me too. So I was like, T, listen, and I'm rapping it, and he like, ooh, we gotta. I'm like, man, put me out. I get him to put me out. So
that's wild.
He take me to the studio. We go to big studios, like ain't no Pro Tool. Like
I was gonna say, what was the big studio back then? Because now it's like different fur, right? You got like different bigger studios. You got DEOs.
We was at Pajamas and
Pajamas
and Live Oak, and then we recorded. We found those places were $80 an hour. And that was a lot back. No, $120 an hour. Even now, that's a lot.
That's a lot, right?
And so then we found a spot called
that 50,000 gonna be gone quick.
Yeah, it was going. And so we left. We were like, all right, we went to Blue Room. And then we found another place called After Dark. And then after dark, we met Sons of Funk over there. Sons of Funk from Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They was on No Limit. And then they actually owned 2 songs on my album. And,
on this first project?
On the first project. They were on No Limit. Master P shit. You remember that song, When I'm Pushing Inside of You? Mm-hmm. It's on the I'm About It, I believe.
That was, what year was that?
99. Yeah, so we recorded there. After dark, it was 24-track studio. You know what I'm saying? Big board, all that, nice speakers, and serious mix down, hours and hours and hours and hours in the studio. It was real shit. You know what I'm saying? You really had to either have some real good talent or have some bread behind you to put out an album.
Yeah, well, I mean, 50,000 is a lot, even nowadays. So that was to record, taking it to the next, though, right? So what was when I look at that project, who came up with the idea for the album cover on there? You got what is that, like a green silk shirt?
The Versace?
Yeah, is
that was me.
is?
That was me.
That boy was pimping on the cover.
Oh man, I had the Versace shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I had the hard bottoms on, man.
That man was not playing.
With the player hat. I would do concerts in that type of shit, and I was a teenager.
So for the people that don't know too, a little bit of like about Filmo is like there's a lot of pimp culture in it, right? Because you got like Filmo Slim.
Yeah.
And I kind of equate it to like growing up in Richmond, because Richmond is kind of the same way. A lot of P culture in that.
Yeah.
Were you inspired by a lot of that from seeing that growing up?
Yep. Like I said, my biological father was bank robber, and you know, he was fly on some fly shit too, player shit, you know.
And he was on that project too.
No, Daddy Marco.
Yeah, Daddy, and that's kind. He was a pimp as well, though,
He's
right?
a pimp. Yeah. So that's where I really got influence from. I ain't gonna even lie. My mom showed me a movie, The Mac.
Oh, okay, of course.
Wrong Decision. It was my favorite movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
classic.
I would watch The Mac all the time. Even when I brought, look, I was 15, 16. All right, now I'm much older now. But
right.
When I bring girls over the house, I would show them The Mac. Like this.
You just throw that on.
Yeah, I would throw The Mac on. It was part of my game.
You said that. Hey, let the movie speak for itself.
Yeah. And so exactly. And so then I was infatuated by that from the movie, from Daddy Marco, from cats I had around me. One of my mom's good friends, rest in peace, Ron Newt. You know what I'm saying? He was a P. You know what I'm saying? And her boyfriend a long time ago. And that's Jay Valentine's dad.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I had all this.
Jay Valentine, the R&B singer, right?
Yeah. So he come from some real game. You know what I'm saying? And I had all this game around me, and so I was young, but I was mature in the game.
Well, even like on the album cover. So when did you take that album cover picture? You were 16? 16. You don't look 16. You look like a grown-ass man.
I know. Everybody says that. Even the music, like, even my wife always says, like, she was like, I can't believe you were a teenager when you was making this music. You know.
Well, and also people investing in you at that age.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you're in the music game, too, like, these youngsters, especially nowadays, I don't think they can handle a $50,000 investment, a lot of them. That might get squandered real quick.
And I didn't touch none of the bread.
Yeah,
I didn't really touch none of the bread. It was all.
But you got to work though.
Yeah, I got to work, and I worked hard too. Like,
how long did it take to make that project?
I don't know, maybe like a year.
Oh, okay.
It was some work. Like, we really went back and did stuff over and made sure it was right, and it was. If you shout out Goto's, tell you that's his favorite Frisco album that came out. Like, that's his favorite album that came out the city, and it's one of the best San Francisco albums that ever came out the city. So
as far as like when I'm looking at the track list for that too, like and this is way back in the days. So this dropped 97.
97, yeah.
So and you had like people like JT the Bigger Figure, you had Messy Marv on there. What was it? They were young too then, yeah?
Yeah, they was popping though.
Yeah. But they were probably around your age as well at that time, or were they a little bit older?
They was much older, like JT's 10 years older than me.
Okay. How was it working with them back then? You were already around?
No,
you were already around?
JT not 10 years older than me. He's about 7 years older than me, 7 years older than me, yeah. My dad was around Messy Marv, Figure, all them. Like, my dad's in the video. If you look at Game Recognized Game, he the one with the dreadlocks, walking the dogs. That's Daddy Marco. And Quinn, Quinn was on the album. Quinn actually had more relation to my biological father.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? He's already said this, and rest in peace to Piggy. His stepdad used to rob banks with my dad. You know what I'm saying? So
Messy Marv's dad? Or St. Quinn's dad?
Quinn's dad.
Wow. So your pops and his pops robbed banks together.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
and
wild.
So Mess actually was up around Daddy Marco. And Daddy Marco connected Mess with the person, one of the investors that put out Mess album, Messy Situations, which was called what was a label called? I don't remember, but it was OG dude named Mike, who was Pop's friend, Jewish cat. He was one of the money guys. And then the Secret Service, who did all the beats, produced all my dad's album. Shout out James Richards. He did all Mess albums. So if you hear, it's hella samples, but it's all live played. So Mess was up around Pops. And then he was hearing this music that I was making. He was like, ooh, he was like, let me write to it. He loved the songs. He got on the song Come Through and wrote to it. Hustle on the Go, he heard the song. And Mess is the first one to ever call me Don Toriano.
Oh, that's crazy. Even back then?
Yep.
Okay.
On that album.
So how was it going in the studio with Messy Marv back then? Was he a different character back then, or was he still kind of a wild boy even then?
Mess was still wild. Yeah, Mess was wild.
Do you remember getting in the studio for that first album with him?
Yep. I do remember.
Was this permed out, Messy Marv?
Yep, he had perm. Mess had perm. Yep. He came in here and spit it. Boy, he was going crazy. Like it was like, ooh, like Mess was everybody thinks that Mess inspired that album. But he inspired me after that album. Because I saw him in the studio. I was like, Mess was raw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was going stewy. Like, actually on that album is when he turned into it, like he started even being a more advanced Mess. I was like, they ain't heard this Mess.
You see the evolution.
I saw the evolution, yeah. Because on the first album he was more laid back player. Yep. Then he got more like oomph in him.
Grimy.
Got more grimy.
Yeah.
And I did too.
Yeah.
Like after Young No, I went to Fully Loaded. I know you probably got some Fully Loaded questions on there, but that's when I got it. Something about music and evolution, and you get angry for something. I don't know what it is. I got angry, and I felt like it made my game advance as far as my talent.
Do you mean like as far as like getting angry, you mean like the energy that you give?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also having the confidence.
Yeah.
That's probably part of it too.
Yeah. I think it is confidence too, because I started to get more like, you can't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Mess with. He got into you can't fuck with me mode. And then that was it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened with me too. So I saw Mess get into that, and it was it. He went crazy.
Yeah. And you guys had a relationship for up until, I'm sure, for a while, right?
Yeah.
That's a real cool piece of history. So as far as saying that Messy Marv is the one that gave you the Don Toriano name, when did that name change come about?
Him and Quinn. So like Mess the first one to say it on the album. And then when I went to Done Deal Records, T Love didn't want to give up me as an artist. You know,
what was his rationale behind that? He just wanted to.
He just didn't want to do it. He was like, I'm not giving up Young No. And so then Quinn was like, well, he Don Toriano then, and then that's where that happened.
And you know, it's funny you say that, because I was just listening to a recent Messy Marv interview, and I think he was saying something about the Cash Lord Mess name change was also because he couldn't bring that name into a different like contract agreement to get, you know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of artists kind of can make that happen as well.
I think that might have happened with Nicotina. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I think Dre Dog was signed. I could be wrong. you know, Big Bro correct me if I'm wrong. I think Dre Dog was on Intermittent Records, and then he went into his own, and then what became Andre Nicotina. So I think that's where the switch came for his name as well.
That's probably why a lot of artists change their names. They're like, we got to get out of this.
Yeah, and it was good for Young No to go to Don Toriano because I couldn't be Young No forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though some people still be like Young No
Right.
when they see me. You know?
Yeah. Well, I still hear people refer to you as that, like when they're talking about, you know, your music career. So I think Dregs was somebody that said that to me. Oh yeah, he used to be Young No. And then, you know
Yeah, they still people because people are attached to that album.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nostalgia behind that album. You know what I'm saying?
So as far as touching on Andre Nicotina, were you involved with him early?
No.
Okay.
I knew who he was. He knew who I was. He got major love for Daddy Marco though.
Okay.
So, like, back then I wanted to get him on the album when he was Dre Dog, and he was go do it because of Daddy Marco. He just respect Daddy Marco, like, you know, the P. You know what I'm saying? He got major love for him, and it just never happened. I don't know what it was. Maybe I don't know if he was too expensive. I don't remember. My manager at the time talked to him, and maybe he was too busy, and we just didn't do it. Same with Mac. I remember calling Mac Mall House, and I was supposed to get Mac Mall on the song, but we just didn't do it because it didn't match up. You know what I'm saying? Mac Mall was one of my favorite artists too. And
shout out Mac Mall.
Yeah, shout out Mac Mall. But Dre used to always see me at Club Milk on Hay Street, the reggae club in San Francisco.
Still around, right?
Yep, but I don't think it's popping like it used to.
Yeah.
And Dre always showed me love. You know what I'm saying? He always had love for me. Always, if he see me outside, whatever.
I was gonna say, so back then, was that sort of like, if you were outside mingling, like, did you run into a lot of like the SF factors as far as like music wise? Like people would just be outside walking around?
It depends. Like, not all the time. No. It just Dre be outside. He liked to be at Milk. Like he wasn't tripping. You know what I'm saying? So you'll run into him. I don't think too much more that I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I seen a funny interview with Andre Nicotina where he's like standing outside of like, I don't know if it was a record store.
Yeah.
And he's eating a burrito and he's getting interviewed by like this British dude.
Yeah.
It was like the most random interview ever.
Yeah, he wasn't tripping. He'd be out.
Yeah.
He'd be outside. You know what I'm saying? At the reggae club too was cool too. I used to always see Jack at the reggae club. At Milk. Was it Club Dread? Club 6. I forget what it was, but we used to always run into each other at the club too. Like,
yeah, and I think it's something to be said about Filmo dudes is like there's a lot of character like from people out there. Like you got, and we'll touch on Quinn next, but like you got like Messy Marv, you got Dre Dog, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot, and of course you know what I'm saying? Like you're very entertaining as a human being, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's Filmo.
What is that? Like something in the water?
Filmo is very charismatic. That's what I'm saying about the pride. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of charisma, a lot of you know what I'm saying, a lot of game. Just we're naturally good performers. Like even the people who don't rap are performers. Like we pop it really good. Like it come from like Filmo Slim. Like if you watch Filmo Slim, you see him, he popping it. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And that's how the Mo is. All the Filmo rappers. Look at Rosky. When he talk, you know what I'm saying? That's how Filmo is. We pop it. You know what I'm saying? The whole Mo is just that's how we get down. Is we are characters. You know what I'm saying? Our characteristics come from our neighborhood. We just feed off each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit of my swag, and you know what I'm saying, the way I carry myself come from one of my partners. Some of what my partners say I come from what, you know what I'm saying, we all like feed off of each other.
Yep.
You know what it is?
Yeah, you can tell. So San Quinn is your blood cousin?
Quinn is not blood, but we might as well be blood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? our cousin. So my first cousin is his stepsister, and we just, I mean, we related.
That's damn near blood.
Yeah, we damn near blood. I mean, it's just everybody. The Mo is very close together. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in Fillmore,
You gotta watch who you mess
know
around
what I'm saying?
with.
Yeah, everybody cousins. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Like you gotta be careful. You might, you know what I'm saying? Don't. You gotta ask a female who you related to, because you might be that girl cousin. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So like, and it's really like that because people, the Great Migration, people come from Louisiana and certain other parts of the South and ended up in the Mo and Hunters Point, and they ended up probably being family. You know what I'm saying?
So is that a lot of where like people came from too, like Louisiana and stuff? Because that's like same way with Richmond is like my grandma's from Louisiana too, and a lot of my partners, all their family came from the South,
right,
or a lot of Louisiana.
Yep, the Great Migration. And my grandmother on my mom's side came from Texas, Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? And went to Hunters Point and then moved to the Mo, and then like that bought a house in Haight. You know?
Yep. So, but going back to San Quinn, so how did you guys link up back in the day? Was this like an early friendship that happened, or was that later on?
Quinn is older than me by 2 years, but Quinn was more mature in the game because Quinn started rapping when he was 14. Like how I started young.
Right.
He started young, but right off the top, he had an album out that was actually, you know,
It was popping.
It was popping. It's a nationwide album right off the top. You know, the Young Baby Boy, Don't Cross Me, right? And so I was inspired by him and JT. And so when Quinn, like I said, my dad would be over the house, you know what I'm saying? So there was always a connection with the family. So when I actually really met Quinn, you know, we got acquainted. I asked him to do a song, and he was like, yeah, it was no problem. Not only did he do that song, but my mom was also managing him in Mess.
Really?
Yeah.
Your mom, the one that I met?
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Get Money Promotions and Management. So their album, Explosive Mode, Moms was doing management for them, so they'd be over the house all the time.
That's how did she get into managing artists?
She's into music.
Okay, so she was into music as well.
Yeah.
So that makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah, she's into music. And my mom always been she's a lawyer now, but she always been like entrepreneur. Mom really never liked to work unless it was for herself. So I get it honestly. Like, so
it's in your blood.
It's in my blood for real. So she was promoting, doing management for Quinn and Mess and
this was a
Ghetto
couple
Stars.
years prior to you making your first album as well?
Yeah, so while I was making my first album, she was working with all these artists.
Wow.
Yeah, and so when Quinn told my mom, like, Quinn told me that he was like, I want y'all to be, I'm putting together like a Fillmore Wu-Tang, and I want you to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And I was like, and that boosted my confidence.
So when he said that, what was he referring to, like Fully Loaded, or what was he? Did that ever come to?
He wasn't even referring to Fully Loaded. He just was saying like, I want y'all to get you, my brother. You know, Rich wasn't in the picture yet.
Okay.
I met Rich at Kezar Stadium. You know, where it's all basketball games and football games. Everybody from the city go watch games at the Pro-Am games. It's the Pro-Amateur games. Rich came up to me. I thought Rich was Samoan. He was Rich, black and Chinese though, right?
He looks like he could be
Samoan.
Samoan.
And so he was young. Rich was like probably like 15, 14, I don't know. He was like, I'm Big Rich, I make beats. Right.
So he was producing back then.
He was producing.
Okay.
Big Rich produced BRP Productions. Big Rich Productions.
So he was still Big Rich back then too.
Yeah, BRP. Okay. Yeah, because his dad is Big Rich.
Oh.
So he's the Big Rich Jr. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought Rich was raw. I made some songs. I went down to his house in 800 on BHP. It was down the way in the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Made some music. And I was like, we got to do a group. I think me, him, and Bailey did. I don't know if it was, no, me, him, and Bailey, or me, him, and Devo. I don't remember. And I was like, we got to do something. And Big Rich was inspired by the Young No album. He was like, oh, he thought that was dope. You know what I'm saying? So me, him, and Bailey got together, and we just started making music.
And Bailey is from SF as well, right?
Bailey is Quinn's little brother.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's Quinn's blood brother. And so
that's crazy.
Yeah, and so we started doing music together, and then that's how Fully Loaded came together. It wasn't even nothing to do with Quinn. I just knew Quinn wanted us to all do something. Like at first, me and Bay, you know, and
so you guys just sort of started naturally working together.
Yeah.
And
Bailey didn't even want to do music.
Really?
He was hard. He just wanted to play basketball and take care of his school shit.
So, but as far as, so you guys start working together, right? And you guys are just hitting the studio, making songs. And this is before any like official name was made for it, yeah?
We were full-fledged first. We was all in high school still. So my album just came out.
Okay.
And then I was on to the next.
So you just hit the ground running.
Yeah, I was like, all right, it's time to make, it was like Vegan Mob.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, Young Noah's out. We promoting that. I'm different now. I feel I'm more aggressive with my music. I'm more, like I said, you know, the confidence.
Yeah.
I turned different. And then I was like, all right, let's do Fully Loaded.
So did you directly feel the success from that first album, like when it dropped? Or how was that experience?
I didn't make no money off of it because he put so much money
into it. He basically recouped.
Yeah, he put so much money into it. But
even as far as like, besides the money, a reaction from like, even from like the hood and
I got
stuff
a big
like that.
reaction. Like everybody loved it. Japan loved it. People in France loved it. People in Germany loved it. It was like a big reaction. Like
that's crazy.
The city loved it. And then that was it. Like,
and it really like motivated. So at that point, were you motivated to kind of like start putting the homies on? Is that kind of where like the group aspect of it came together?
The group aspect came together because I was me and so T Love was connected to he had folks in East Palo Alto, a cat named Ken, rest in peace to Ken. And Ken had a group called Never Legal. Never Legal is now the Hood Stars. But back then they were called Never Legal, and it was about 5 of them in a group.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was touring with Never Legal, and I was a solo artist. We went to Portland, we went to, I don't remember.
The Bay Syndicate, basically. Portland, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, Reno. And I remember watching them rap. And it was just dope. Like, they was like feeding off each other. Like every time somebody would say something, this other artist, like I remember Band-Aid especially, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Band-Aid, big bro Band-Aid. They was just like picking up off of each other. Like they was hard. And I was like, damn, I want to do a group. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like a group would be fun. It would help push me over the top. And I wanted to be in a group. You know what I'm saying? But it had to be Filmo group, right? And so I found Big Rich. I told Big Rich, and then told Bay, and he was down. And then that's really how it came together. Is I got inspired by EPA. You know what I'm saying? By Band-Aid and them. You know what I'm saying?
So you guys, when does the Fully Loaded actual like name come about? Like when does that get branded?
So Full Fledged, they already had a group called Full Fledged out of West Point. Lil Lee, I went to school with Lil Lee. Shout out Lil Lee. They had Full Fledged, and so we had to change our name to Fully Loaded, and so we did Fully Loaded. And good thing we changed our name because it just fit. It fitted us. You know, we was fully loaded.
That's like, an iconic name.
Thank you. We were just like, we lived by the name. Like our raps was just explosive. We were like fully loaded. Like
so. The first members are you, Bailey, Big Rich.
Yeah.
Is Rich Rocka or your boy back then in it? around that time or no?
No. Rocka came later.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Rocka was more of an honorary member.
Okay.
That's our family. That's Bailey's cousin. And we all, like I said, we all family. We all
Definitely.
cousins. But he used to be with Bailey every day. And Bailey named him your boy. Because they be like, where your boy at? Where you with your boy?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they was like, literally calling him like your boy, right? Like, you know, where your boy at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bailey just named him your boy. You know what I'm saying? And he became an honorary member of Fully Loaded because he was fully loaded. He was explosive, just like Fully Loaded, right? And right off the top, and that was from an album we did. We did a mixtape, and that's when he, you know, was a part of that. It was a mixtape we did with Big Von, I believe.
Big Von back in the day.
I think it was with Big Von, yep. And it was vicious. And then Rocka
Was it Street Heat?
Street Heat. I think it was Street Heat. Yep.
That was around the 16s with me days?
Yep, that was right before 16s with me came out. And then he went crazy. Then Rocka went crazy.
And who was the other guy on there? Was your boy and Devo? Who's the...
Devo, yep.
Devo, okay.
Devo. Yeah, Devo was from the Gamblers.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Which is Telemac?
Telemac,
And
Devo, and Sky Skurs, who is now known as Sky Baller.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We had a whole lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Sky was on Done Deal. Willie Hen was on Done Deal. Willie Hen did an album with Scarface called The Product.
He did a DJ drama mixtape too, I believe.
I know Rocka did the DJ drama mixtape.
Yeah, I think Willie Hen did too.
I think,
if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure he probably did. Hey, bro, don't kill me because I don't remember. You know, Hindu. If I don't remember, it's because I got all type of shit going on. But Hindu, my brother, like that's like we all brothers. That's my family. Like talk to Hindu all the time. It's my real brother. You know, so
tons of talent though in that atmosphere of Fully Loaded though.
We had to be like Done Deal had to be the Raws, like the Raws in the Bay Area at one point in time.
Well, and I think too there was also like what I really liked about Fully Loaded back in the day because I remember I think I got one of your guys' mixtapes at Rasputin like way back when, which is hella funny. Mm-hmm. But it was like a real emphasis on lyricism.
Right. That was what was crazy about Fully Loaded. We was from San Francisco, Filmo, but we was lyricists. And that was really, be honest with you, like I come from like the gang spitting era. I'm older than them by a smidge. You get what I'm saying? And my favorite rappers, Mac Dre, 40, you know what I'm saying? And then Quinn and Fig, you know what I'm saying? And Mess one of my favorite rappers too, but he came around the same time I came, but he's just older than me, and he was with Quinn, so he's automatically put on that pedestal with Quinn. You know what I'm saying? He just came into that because he was so raw, right? But that's who I was raised up under is the game spitters. You know what I'm saying? And then Bailey and Rich, they were more about the lyrical content.
Or your boy too.
Yeah, your boy, because he come up under Bailey.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And so they say birds of a feather flock together. They actually brought that out of me. It was Bailey and Rich that pulled up the lyrical shit up out of me.
Yeah, you can't be in the studio with everybody and be weak.
Because Quinn is a lyricist.
Yeah.
Quinn, one of the dopest lyricists in the world. You know what I'm saying? So Quinn is a lyricist. So you can't be Quinn little brother and not be a lyricist. You can't be Quinn little cousin and not be a lyricist. So even though I seen explosiveness out of Quinn, you know, Bailey kind of brought that like that lyrical content that you didn't know Quinn was spitting.
Right.
Because you was just so attached to his delivery and his explosiveness, you know?
Yeah, no, that was definitely like an iconic time especially for like Bay Area music. Like Fully Loaded for me is like I have a good memory of it just like I said, especially because like I came up wanting to be super lyrical and shit like that. So to see, because you know, I came up with a lot of like East Coast music and shit like that. But when you hear it coming from the Bay, you know, you're very like, it's dope.
Right. And you know, Fully Loaded. Yeah. I felt like if there was Instagram when Fully Loaded was around, it'd be a whole different story.
Yep.
You know, but hey, the universe do what the universe do. You know
oh yeah. So Gone Pimpin' then, is that the first Don Toriano solo album through that name?
Yep.
Okay. Can we go into like your memories of working on that project? Because like it's funny too, like talking about like memory wise, like even before me and you got cool, like that album cover is real iconic too. And is that Photo Docs who did that cover?
Photo Docs did Gone Pimpin'. The first album was done by Funky Fat Graphics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as Gone Pimpin', like that's definitely a solidified Bay classic. When it comes down to making that project, was there more like, I don't know why, like that project to me seems more of like a major label project in a sense. Did you kind of feel that way about that? Like this is going to be a really big project, or how did you feel?
You know, the truth is, I was in my addiction. I was more in the streets. You know what I'm saying? That album was grimy. I didn't even like age it, but it was raw though.
So your energy, are you trying to say kind of like your energy was different back then in that making that project?
Yeah. I thought it was raw.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and when I listen to it now and I listened to it then, yeah, I thought it could have been really big if it would have had the right behind it, but I wasn't in the right space.
So as far as that goes, that you were dealing with a lot of addiction issues and stuff,
A lot of demons, yeah.
So can you go into that a little bit? Like what, were you just going through life stuff, or like what was going on?
Yeah, I just was around, you know, at that point in time, it was more, just my surroundings were different.
The people around
The people
you too?
around me, yeah. And so, you know, once again, brother feather flock together, you know, and
Right.
and that's what the music before I felt was more professional before that. Gone Pimpin' was more like my circumstances and my situations, and you know, it's dark. It's a raw album, but if you listen to it, it's pretty dark.
You can tell like when you talk about it right now that it has like, you know, especially like when you're dealing with, like you said, like demons, or like you're going through some stuff and you have that memory of like, so was it even making that project was a little bit of like, it didn't feel like all the way you, is that kind of what you're kind of saying?
No, it was me.
Okay.
It was for sure me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But when I hear it later, I was like, oh man.
This man was going through it.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it was a raw out. Like if it had to write back into it, it'd be one of the, you know about it, right? But I feel like if everybody knew about that album, it'd be up there with some of the Messy Marv albums that were out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it has the sound, but it also, like I said, even just like that album cover for me, because I'm a graphic designer as well. So like looking at that, also with Photo Docs, it's always going to be something super crazy. You know what I mean? But so can we talk about like one highlight on there? Of course, I'm sure you know is like the Pay Me with Mac Dre.
Yeah.
So Mac Dre had already passed by then, right? So how did that song come about with that project?
I had the song before Mac Dre passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you guys in the studio together?
No.
Okay.
Mac Dre gave Chuck. I'm trying to remember how I got that song. I think Chuck gave me that song. Frisco Chuck. He was our manager, and now he works for Nick Cannon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Street Cred CEO. You know, shout out Chuck. Mac Dre gave him and Willie Hen. No, we put Willie Hen on the song, and Dre did the verse. He was okay with me using it. I told him that I got the song. He was like, matter of fact, he told me that was old. He was like, we gotta do something new. when I saw Dre.
Typical rapper shit.
Yeah, he like, we got to do something new, Cuddy. Like he was like, you know, he was like, this is dope, but we got to do something new. And I was like,
were you close with him at all, like in that time frame, or like how was that relationship with him?
It wasn't a phone call type of relationship, but Mac Dre, I was a huge fan of Mac Dre.
You came up on him, of course.
Yeah, I came up on Mac Dre. So the first time we did a show was in Kansas City. I was 18 or 19. I think I was 18. I was 18. I met Dre.
Kansas City.
In Kansas City, we did the show. He handed me the mic to do his backups.
Wow.
One of the greatest moments of my life.
Wow.
I'm on there, stay on my toe. I'm getting low, he getting low. Mac Dre, I hung with the Crest Cats when I was in Kansas City. I was hanging with them. They were showing me how to roll backwoods. That was like 26 years ago. You know, he was like, nah, this how you roll a backwood cut. He was like, I remember I got some Kansas City weed. It was terrible. He was like, this is terrible right here. Where you get this from? You know what I'm saying?
So terrible.
right. And then we was blowing big weed in there. And I felt like Dre liked me because he was actually looking at one of his proteges. You know what I'm saying? And Mac Dre, I was one of Mac Dre's favorite artists out of San Francisco. I was told, you know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
How
did that make you feel to hear that? I mean, that probably blew your mind,
blew my mind. And I did a song. So we did a song. We did Rompilation. When I did Rompilation, I met Kilo and DeViz, took them to the studio. Like, they knew how I rocked with Mac Dre, so they sent me over there to go meet them. You know what I'm saying? When we did, what was that album called? This Nation. Dre called me over to come get up on it. And then I brought Rich and Devo with me, and we did it. We did a song called Loaded Clap. But yeah, he requested that we come over and do the song.
That's
so. Dre had a lot of love for us and had a lot of love for me, and I definitely had a lot of love for Dre.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. Very unfortunate situation. I feel like if Mac Dre was alive, I definitely would have did an album on this for sure. I definitely would have did an album on this for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really cool part of history. That's wild that you first met him in Kansas City too. That's such a wild moment.
Yeah.
So let's go into this then, as far as past the music stuff, because I mean you've got a whole career after that as well. I mean you still make music and dope stuff, but later on in your career you decided to start the Vegan Mob, which is, for the people that don't know, vegan barbecue. What was the story behind becoming a chef? Were you into that back in the day too?
Always loved food. Always was a cook. Always a chef. That was my second love behind music. And so that's how I showed off.
How did you first learn how to cook? Was it mom's in the kitchen or?
Oh, I mean, I was cooking when I was a little kid. I was cooking in my uncle's kitchen when I was 5 years old, making breakfast. You know what I'm saying? He would let me cook, and so I go down there and cook. And then I would cook. They called me when I was 4 years old. They called me in the drawer making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? So I always was a fan of cooking. My grandfather had a restaurant called Knob Hill Cafe, and he had another one called Ruler Peak. And I grew up in a restaurant. My mom made the salads over there. I would be sitting on the counter watching them make salads. So I always loved cooking. I just naturally was a good cook, and I didn't know that I was gonna take it to the professional world. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's kind of in your blood, though. If you do something, you're gonna take that shit all the way.
Right. Exactly. Right. Hey, it's funny. I was just saying that yesterday at the book signing. I was like, if I do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you hit that on the nose.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people that I'm sure a million people like this, but I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's there's a certain type of person that you are that's I'm gonna do this, and then next thing you know, it's real. You know what I mean? And so I think that's super dope.
Thank you.
As far as so Vegan Mob, when it comes down to the start of that, I mean, I kind of know the story because I've been there from the beginning. But can you kind of let the audience know how that came about, and also like what's your history with being vegan?
Well, man, so this is how it started. I wanted to do a organic barbecue restaurant. I wanted to make it healthy. I wanted to do it where it was grass-fed animals. Try to make it as healthy as possible. We can't do that because we're vegan. And so
how long were you vegan before that? Were you not since you were young, right?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year. Yeah. Now I grew up on all the soul food, all the barbecue.
I was gonna say the regular stuff.
Yeah, that's why it tastes like it tastes, because I know what it tastes like.
You know how to flavor whatever you need to.
Yeah, I gotta make it taste like that, or I'm not gonna like it.
Yep. Was it a hard transition though for you because like growing up on regular soul food and then going vegan, especially if you don't have Vegan Mob, is like tough. So was that what was that like? Was it more a health-based decision? Were you just like, I want to be healthier? Is that kind of what it was?
Definitely was a health-based decision. I was eating hella Jack in the Box.
Oof, yeah.
Hella sourdough jacks. I love sourdough jacks.
And at that time, you were doing delivery and stuff, right?
Yeah. And I was doing hella sourdough jacks, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm gonna die. And so I was like, I gotta stop eating meat.
Hella heart palpitations.
And then I had the flu, and the flu would not disappear. And I was like, I got scared, and so we watched What the Health, and then I saw how like being vegan just knocked out everybody's sickness, and I was like, oh shit, I'm about to go vegan, and that was it. I just went vegan.
That's crazy.
That was it, and then choosing a healthier, positive growth, route for me took me to success. My wife was like, no, we can't do that. And she was like, vegan barbecue. And I was like, vegan barbecue. And I was like, ooh, vegan barbecue. I've been looking for vegan barbecue. And I was like, we about to go crazy. And that was it. And I knew it was about to be bananas the moment that it flew out our mouth.
And you started, so for the people that don't know, you started kind of like doing farmers markets and stuff with these certain things?
I started out the trunk.
Out the trunk with it.
Yeah, I actually set up on a corner in front of a Safeway in the Diamond District in Oakland, and I was giving out gumbo.
So that was the first menu item that kind of came about.
First menu item, and then the next day I was like, I'm about to sell some of this shit. So I made some macaroni, some gumbo, and then I was selling those on the corner. Cause everybody was like, where you at? Where you at? And then everybody kept hitting, where you at? Where you at? So I was like, all right, fuck this. I said, who wants some gumbo? Who wants some macaroni?
Is this straight off of Instagram or what is
Straight off of Instagram.
Okay.
I packed up 70 of them things, $10 a piece. Went to Frisco, sold all of them. 2 hours.
Out the door.
Right? Then I went to the house. I was about to go to work, do Uber, and my daughter was like, I don't want you to go to work. And I was like, I gotta go to work. She was
What you mean?
She was like, you don't gotta go to work. And I was like, but I do. And she was like, you can sell food. And I was like, and then my wife was like, just have faith. And I was like, all right. And I sat back down and I said, who wanted my plate? DM me. DM went crazy. I did like 50 meals in 2 hours, made like $900.
How was that process of like cooking all that stuff? Was it like
rough?
Taxing? Did it whoop your ass making all those meals?
With my ass, I was doing that shit out of my kitchen. And then I finally got into a kitchen.
It sounds like anxiety, like just being in a regular house
Tons
kitchen.
of anxiety. Tons of anxiety. Like, it's been anxiety from the start.
Right.
It's still anxiety.
Food is a different monster
Yeah,
than making an album.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, because I treat my menu like I treat an album. You know what I'm saying? Every item got to be fire so I can make an epic album. And Vegan Mob is the album. The menu are the songs. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about that then. As far as, because when I think of Vegan Mob, it's very aesthetic, right? It's like lime green or neon, whatever you would call that green.
Yeah.
Where did all that like come up with? Like, were you just like, this is my color?
You know, so first a cat named Wu, he did the logo. And for some reason, I don't know, we just said, the vegan colors was like green. You know, we just had to see green in it. And then,
Makes sense.
And then I sent it to Shemp. First I was like, all right, I asked Instagram and they were like, put your face in it. Like it was just like a mafia face. And I sent it to Shemp, Photodocs. They did the logo over and then they added my face and then they added more bright green and then it just went crazy. It was like, that's how it came. Like,
and then, so for your first restaurant, a brick and mortar, because I mean, to kind of speed it up a little bit, you went from selling on the corner and then you go to Lakeshore, right? Which is like the brick and mortar.
So I came up with the idea January 2019. I went to the corner on March 13th, and then in April I went into the farmers markets and I delivered and I did pop-ups. By August I signed a lease, and then I had Vegan Mob open. So within like 6 months I had a restaurant.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
10 months from the idea, 6 months from me starting to sell food.
And for the people that don't know you, what goes through your head on an average day? Like, say in those 6 months when you're building up to opening this restaurant, are you every second of the day Vegan Mob, Vegan Mob, Vegan Mob, or?
Vegan Mob, that's it. And, you know, and I was supposed to get a food truck. And I got a loan to do a food truck. And Evan Kadir from Senior CSIG had the building. He was going to get the building for Senior CSIG. And he was like, I think this is for you. And so he introduced me to the landlords, and we basically sat in there and negotiated. He helped me negotiate to get that building. I had no financials or nothing. I just was out of the trunk. And so it was hella weird because I was supposed to get a truck, and I got the loan for the truck, right? And I and somebody called me up. One of my boys called me up. He was like, I just had a dream. No, he texted me, I had a dream. You got a restaurant. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I was like, and I'm being humble. I'm listening to him because he's saying like, it's coming from God, right? And I'm like, okay, so let me be cool about it. But in my head, I'm like, I ain't getting a restaurant. I'm about to get a food truck. I don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. And I got another call, another DM. He was like, man, I had a spiritual dream. They both said it was spiritual.
Wow.
Right? And they both are very spiritual cats. And he was like, you know me, I'm very spiritual. He was like, it was red, the building was red, the floors were red, and the building was actually red, right?
It was an old diner or something, right?
Merritt Bakery. It was red and white.
It was a bakery.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit. The dream came true.
Wow.
And before they called me, I was like, I was getting this truck, but I was like, I wish I had a restaurant. And I was like, well, you got to be thankful for what you're getting. You know, you'll get a restaurant soon. Because my friends, Evan, he was starting his restaurant, and Chef Chu, who gave me some game, who owns Better Chu out here in Vallejo, it was Veg Hub at the time, had a restaurant. I was like, oh, this is going to be, it's easier for them. I got to hook out of a kitchen. I was like, I wish I had a restaurant. I was like, but I got to be thankful for what I have. Evan called me up 7 in the morning. He's like, what you doing? I'm like, getting ready for, I'm like, what you doing? I'm like, hella early in the morning, right? I'm getting ready for a farmer's market. He was like, I got a restaurant for you. I was like, this crazy.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started.
It's wild how the world like comes together like that. So the process of opening a brick and mortar restaurant, it's gotta be stressful as hell though, right? So like, do you have to go through like hella permits and like that type of stuff when you're opening something like that?
Yeah, for me, I didn't, because it was turnkey. So all I had to do was get health and fire. That's it. I mean, it was a process.
Yeah.
I had to clean out the restaurant, set up the fire stuff right, and until they told me you know, they told me, they walked me through. They were like, nah, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like that. So it was crazy. I signed the lease in August and I was open by October. I had a restaurant.
Crazy. Do you
I don't even
remember
know how I did that.
Do you remember like the first day opening it? Were you kind of like in awe of like what you had accomplished?
Man, that day was crazy because I just knew how crazy I was marketing, and I just knew it was gonna be bananas. I was like, it's about to be crazy.
When you say the marketing aspect of it, because that interests me a lot too. Is what were some of the things that you were doing to kind of build up to that point? Was it just strictly social media or like
Strictly social media? Mm-hmm. It was a lot of vegan miles, a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. Everybody wanted to get to it, you know, and then people were posting it, like Mr. Fab and other people were just posting it for me too. Mm-hmm. And the building that Evan hooked me up, it was a staple. It used to be
said it was a bakery, right?
Before Merit Bakery, it was a Quick Stop. It was called Quick Stop. Quick Way, excuse me. Oakland go kill me for this. Quick Way. It was Quick Way, like a staple, right? And so once they was like, oh, you got the old Quick Way, that's legendary. Like people went bananas because of that. Like that helped. Like it was all magical. Everything was perfect. Like
and it's funny to look at the Quick Way building. Mm-hmm. It had the lime green letters too, which is funny to think about that crossover.
And I'm not sure if it was, cause you looking at the like newer version.
Yeah, like that.
I think it was there, but I think if I'm not mistaken, they did like a newer version from the movie. What's the movie called? What's that movie called?
It was in a movie?
Yeah. The movie was called, damn, I forget what it's called, bro, but it was a Bay Area. They did a series about it. It was like a Bay Area series. And they did a movie. I can't believe I can't remember this movie. But in the movie, Quick Way was selling vegan burgers.
Blind Spotting?
Blind Spotting.
They were selling vegan burgers at Quick Way?
They were selling vegan burgers.
No way.
I swear to God.
That is funny.
Yeah.
My cousin's been telling me to check that show out for hell long.
And they were saying, you know, they were saying, like, I can't believe Oakland is getting like this. They got vegan burgers at Quick Ways.
Are they sending shots?
It was before Vegan Mob came.
Okay, all right, good.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Thought we were gonna go to war.
No. That was the universe, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's how crazy it was.
Wow.
It was like, I was tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this meant to be.
So let's go into this thing because I'm very curious. You know, of course, everything on the outside looks easy. You know, for somebody like you, what was like on the inside? What were some of the harder parts of running a food business, but also being in the food industry?
Nah, stop. It was crazy because it was like going back to that. I can go back to that first day. The line was wrapped around a corner. We did 17,000 in sales in one day.
Crazy. So when you were running that first day, who was supporting you in this? Did you have like a manager and stuff, or it was just you?
Everybody.
Okay. Family
members, people who worked for me at the farmer's market. It was every single body, friends, everybody. It was crazy.
That's tight.
It was crazy. It was like it was hard, and it was a shit show too. It was crazy. I came up with sauces that day.
It's a yin and a yang.
Yeah, I came up with recipes on that day. Like it was crazy.
So you're in there and you're like making stuff on a whim, like basically that you're about to sell right there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I was like, oh, I don't got no Creole sauce, Cajun sauce for the po' boy. I just whipped some shit up like
fire.
And it's the recipe right now, same recipe. And it was so.
It's the same recipe now. That it was. Wow.
We were supposed to be open the next day on Sunday, but we sold out of every single thing, and there was no way that I was gonna get open. So I said, we close. I'll see you on Tuesday. And
How
that's
did it feel when you left that day? Were you just like, what am I even?
Oh, bro, it was crazy. I was doing some dances and shit. I remember.
You was getting love for sure.
I did some dances. I remember just like apologize for the people.
You had to shut it down on a couple people, yeah, because the line was probably crazy.
I had to shut it down. Like we opened at 1:00. We had to close at like 7.
So as far as moving forward a little bit, when you've been there for say the first 6 months, do things get easier? Do they get harder? Like, how was that running that operation?
It got hard and it got easier and hard. Like the running it, like getting the orders out and stuff got easier. Mm-hmm. The business side of things got a little bit harder.
And can you go a little deeper on why?
Because you don't know what you do. I didn't know what I was doing.
And you're on an upward climb as far as
I didn't know what I was
business.
doing. I just was killing. Like I was at one point in time, I was doing like $10,000 a day, $12,000 a day, like 60,000 a week. 7,000.
Do you feel when you're running something like that, that's a bigger operation like that? Do you feel a lot of pressure on your own? Are you? Because I know, like for myself, like running a business, when things are going really good for me, I get nervous. Like I'm like, what is coming tomorrow? That's gonna.
I'm gonna keep it real. Like I got afraid that I was gonna lose. And law of attraction is real, and bad stuff started to happen.
Like what?
Like I start going in the red. My money started to get low, and everything that I feared started to come true. And so I don't advise to get nervous and afraid because you can attract that truth.
You open yourself up for the negative. Mm-hmm. That's really good advice too.
Yeah. You're actually inviting it in. So people don't know that side of Hikimai because I'm great at making everything look popping.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm great at painting a popping picture. You know.
Where do you think you learned that part of like being able to be strong under pressure and not look like you're cracking?
My dad always told me never let them see you sweat. Yeah. And you got to. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You can go. Yeah. I have no choice. That's the way I look at it. You know.
And I think that's like even though you have a whole operation of people that work with you and stuff like that, at the end of the day, it is Don Toriano. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's why I was curious, like, running stuff like that when things do get crazy, how you operate in a smooth way, because you really do a great job of that.
Thank you.
As far as like moving forward, so you ended up linking up with Dame Dash and getting him some food. How did that interaction happen?
My boy Eddie Mo from the Mo. From the Mo, man, and childhood friend. He older than me, but all from the hood, from Philmo and Pia. They're involved in a program with helping the city grow in retaining and cultivating Black-owned businesses to retain the culture of San Francisco. So they call me down because Dame Dash is a vegan. So
and he was in town, yeah. He was
in town
doing something.
And I brought the food down there for Dame Dash, and I was watching his movie. He was showing his movie.
A new movie?
A new movie.
That's fine.
I think Ron came and got me. One of them came and got me. They was in the dressing room. Cause I wasn't trying to impede on the. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I usually don't. I just stayed out and watched the movie, and then he came out. He was like, "Where's the chef? Where's the chef?" He was like, "Yo, where's the chef?" They came, Toriano, they want you. He wants you. He wants you. So I came out. I went in there, and he was like, "This right here is crazy."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, this." He was like, "What?" And he was like, "Tell me." He was like, and I was like, "Yo, can I get a video?" He was like, "Anything you want." He was like, "Record me." He was like, "Send me the video." He was like, "Let's collab on the post." Like,
wow.
He loved it. He lost his mind. So.
And I feel like Dame Dash is one of those type of people that you're gonna get 100% truth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now Dame Dash ain't doing no faking. he finna tell you, nah, this ain't it. Like he not gonna sugarcoat it at all. He came. I'm talking about dude came from the back room. He was in the back room to his dressing room, wherever he's at. He's coming back to the crowd, like coming outside. He like, yo, where's the chef at? Yo, and I was like, I'm pumped up. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does that feel to like kind of get those accolades from that?
Man, it's amazing. You gotta be thankful for every single accolade. You know what I'm saying? Like today, Food and Wine magazine wrote an article, 24 best cookbooks of the spring.
Wow.
And
that just dropped today?
Just dropped today. And Vegan Mob cookbook was mentioned as one of the best cookbooks that came out.
And I think that's really important because you say that, but like every week I see something with your company in it. And I'm like, just now I was thinking in my head, like, I wonder if he just gets like, it's just another day for him. But that's tight to hear you say, like, appreciate all your accolades, like what you know, your shout outs and all that.
Yeah, you gotta have gratitude because when I first started getting it, it was so overwhelming that I was trying to be like cool guy about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, yeah, you know, like okay, because I didn't want to.
You went back to young.
Too much energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but in the Bible and in the law of attraction, it says you gotta be grateful and show gratitude. You gotta celebrate every win. You know what I'm saying? Big or small. So, and sometimes I celebrated so much, I start thinking about, oh well, people tripping off me celebrate. But I can't do that because I tore myself down before doing that. And you don't care who. If somebody's tripping off you celebrating about your accomplishments, then something is wrong with them. It ain't nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? That's their problem. That's not your problem. Because you always supposed to celebrate your wins. You know what I'm saying? So one of the reasons I fell back a little bit. And then I was just so overwhelmed with, like I was like, I gotta be cool. You know what I'm saying? But now I don't care. I gotta celebrate.
I think that's also good advice too, as far as like, because like having success, you should celebrate that.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit like, especially now because there's a lot of like social media hate and shit for everybody. Like no matter what you do, somebody's gonna hate.
Right.
And I think keeping that out of it and then celebrating it is leaving it to not be. It's making it appreciated. So to hear you say that is like important to me too, because I needed to hear that too.
Yeah.
You know, because it's easy to be like, man, I shouldn't celebrate. Because you know, there's people out there that'll hate on you no matter what you do, good, bad, or ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we let them hate.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that about every other week, because I work for that. Like I really work to try to get those accomplishments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need to, I got to. And it's not about being better than anybody else. It's about being better than who I was last week. I got to stay on the top.
Better for yourself too.
Better for myself. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah, well, and that's kind of like something that I think about too. Is like you all like me. I'm the same way. I always want to keep elevating too. You know, and like I think that's a good point. Is like you always want to make sure that you're better than you were last week.
Right.
That's fire. So as far as like elevating, you just dropped a cookbook. What was the process of making this book, and did you enjoy making that book, or was it a stressful process? Or
you know, part of it was stressful in the beginning because I was so busy with Vegan Mob. I got approached to make the cookbook when Vegan Mob blew up, like right when Vegan Mob started. And
okay.
You know, I have to write a cookbook, do a cookbook, you know, and I have a co-author, a co-writer who was handling the writing, you know what I'm saying, for me. But I had to do that, and without her, I'd be in trouble, because there's no way, right? But it was so hard, and I had to realize that how important the cookbook was, right? And I was like, I'm busy, because I'm really giving all my attention to the restaurant. Like, That's what's first, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm busy, but I'm like, this is big, dog. I have to be on top of this, right? And so it was stressful in the beginning because it was just taking on my time over here at the restaurant. Towards the end, it calmed down, and I really enjoyed the process. And I was
It's a pretty
I want to do
extensive
this
book
again.
too.
Yeah, it's over 80 recipes.
Wow.
I think it's like 200 and some pages.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a story behind every recipe. It's a it tells history about me, my family. It tells about the neighborhood. It's not just a cookbook. It's me.
That's
too.
fire.
Yeah. So and I really took the opportunity to kind of show who I was in the cookbook because I wanted people to know me too. So it's not just a cookbook.
I was gonna say it's damn near like showing your legacy too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 80 recipes, right? How many items are on the menu right now? It can't be 80, right?
15.
Okay, so these 80
10,
things are these
12.
new recipes you came up with, or how did that work?
Some recipes that I knew that I knew and turned into vegan recipes that were on the album. Excuse me, the album.
Yeah, see?
See?
The Vegan Mob album.
Yeah, on the Vegan Mob album. The recipes that are already at the restaurant and that are on the menu. My bad. That's what I should say, And then a lot of those recipes, I came up with some of those recipes off the top of my head, tested them, and was like, oh shit, this is fire. Like I was coming up with them like freestyling almost.
That's fire. Kind of like the first day you opened, you made that sauce.
Yeah. And that's when I really knew I was who I was, because I was like, okay, I'm a real chef, I thought I never went through a culinary academy or anything like that, so I knew I could cook.
It's in you, not on you.
It's in me, not on me, but I didn't have the certifications, so sometimes I get a little bit hesitation, about calling myself a chef. But I was like, no, I'm a real chef. Like I'm raw. Like that's how I felt.
You've been in the field with it though.
I've
You
been
learned from doing it.
Yeah, I learned from it. And so, and I forgot about that though. Because in the beginning of Vegan Mob, I wanted to show everybody that I can really cook. You know what I'm saying? Because it's vegan food. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, just because it's vegan food, now I got to really show my ass. Because people already go doubt me because it's vegan. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and it's barbecue, and it's soul food. They're like, this don't make no sense, right? So I was like, I'm going to have to really put my foot in it. And so that's what happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a super dope cookbook too. We'll put a link in the description so people can go and grab it as well. But yeah, it's super, super high quality. Kind of to wrap things up, I just was curious, like, if you could talk to like a younger Don Toriano, what would be some advice that you would tell him? If you could go back in time and kind of tell him something to prepare him for what's to come.
Stay focused. Stay on your grind. Stay focused. Don't get thrown off by distractions. Have faith. Everything is gonna be all right. Believe in yourself.
That's fire. What is in the future for Vegan Mob and for Don Toriano?
Franchises, personal chef, private chef events.
When you say private chef, are you gonna pull up on people and bring it up?
Yeah, if people wanna book me as a private chef, I'm pulling up. You know what I'm saying? More cooking shows, more demonstrations, just more fun. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the franchises are about, is me getting other owners involved so I can be more creative. So yeah. Definitely. More music too. I ain't stopped with the music.
Yeah, we definitely need some new music.
We got movies, you know what I'm saying? My wife and I, we working on I can't tell you what it is, but it's a movie.
Maya.
Yeah, we doing it. We working on a movie right now.
That's fire.
She got me motivated because Maya, that's what she does. She's screenwriter, she does movies. But I'm like, oh, I want to get in there and produce, like help out. And so Yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm excited for what's to come.
If you say it, I know it's gonna happen.
Right on,
So,
right on.
Y'all look out for that.
Yeah, it's coming. I ain't gonna say it unless I mean it.
And as far as Vegan Mob goes, so we've got how many locations now? We've got Santa Rosa.
We got Santa Rosa, we got San Bruno, and we working on a few more right now.
Is there going to be another brick and mortar building?
Stay tuned.
They'll have to wait for that.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Don Toriano, I appreciate you, dog. Keep working. You always inspire me to do better and bigger and better.
Appreciate you.
Keep doing your thing, man. Noble Cinema, we out.